Previously in Colón, Entre, Ríos, a group of parents held a protest in front of the family court and the municipality, denouncing violations of their rights as parents. They claim that their children are in unsuitable residences and lack regular contact despite prior agreements established with the judge. One affected mother shared that she lost custody of her child following a court summons she didn't attend. She alleges there was no evidence of neglect or mistreatment, yet her custody was revoked. Her attempt to present evidence of mistreatment by the paternal family was reportedly dismissed, with custody awarded to that family due to alleged connections with the Child Welfare Department. A father also stated that he has been trying unsuccessfully to re-establish contact with his 5-year-old daughter since last December. He claims his reports were shelved without support from the involved entities, perceiving a lack of impartiality. Despite providing evidence of mistreatment, he asserts that neither the Child Welfare Department nor the prosecutor's office took action, which he sees as a failure to protect his daughter's rights. The father also noted judicial communication restrictions that prohibit discussing the case, questioning their validity. The affected parents believe there is corruption within the process and fear that other families without resources or evidence may face similar situations.
Saturday, November 2, 2024. It is inconceivable, the harassment a brave mother has endured while simply trying to reunite with her daughter, who was taken from her without justification. Instead of receiving support, she has been entangled in a distressing ordeal of malicious comments and attacks that undermine her dignity and rights as a mother. Unfortunately, some individuals, such as a woman who harasses her through messages, feel entitled to judge the lives of those they don't know. What should be a space of respect and empathy has become a ground for unfounded attacks and judgments. One must question where morality stands in this country when judgments are passed without understanding the full story. Where is justice when it is urgently needed? Children's rights, as well as those of men and women, must be defended. A child's desire to be with their mother cannot be blocked by personal interests or unrelated grudges. Children long for the presence and love of their parents, yet sometimes this fundamental right is denied. It is unacceptable that in her attempt to assert her motherhood, this mother ended up hospitalized with head injuries and was detained for allegedly violating a restraining order. While she suffers violence and injustice, those who actually caused this situation face no consequences. This highlights the severity of the psychological and emotional abuse that many endure when they are mistreated and discredited without reason. Beyond this emotional suffering, the family has been devastated financially and psychologically. They have spent over 2 million pesos on lawyers who have done nothing for their case and merely kept the money. Desperate to bring their daughter back, they had to hire 4 lawyers, 2 in criminal law and 2 in family law. To pay for legal fees, they sold valuable belongings from their home, including their motorcycle, car, work tools, and even the kitchen. The mother even lost her job in a shopping mall and recently found work elsewhere. This financial and emotional hardship adds to the struggle for justice they face. Words of harassment and constant intrusion into this mother's life only worsen an already painful situation. Accusations have been made on social media, and a climate of hostility has been created around her, even leading her to lose her job. It is truly scandalous that, instead of finding support, she faces even more obstacles while seeking justice. It is essential that all voices are heard, especially those who have been victims of harassment and abuse. In this story, we must remember that it is not merely a personal conflict, but a matter of human rights that must be guaranteed for everyone. I call on the community to reflect. Instead of judging without knowing the story, let us unite in support of those who are suffering. It's time to restore the reputation of people like this mother, who only seeks what's best for her daughter and faces a disheartening reality.
A mother affected by issues within the child protection system has expressed her distress over the situation she is experiencing, which she describes as stemming from an environment of unfounded accusations related to child removal. Currently hospitalized, the mother mentioned that she might be facing health complications, including issues related to a gallbladder infection. In her own words, she reflects on the harsh experience she and other women in similar situations have endured, stating that this ordeal has transformed their lives in ways they never could have imagined. Despite the difficulties, she remains hopeful that everything will turn out well.
I have something important to share. I want to show you how a summons was sent for a hearing where the person received the same summons twice but with different dates. She was required to appear on the 24th and then again on the 30th. The woman attended on the 24th, only to be told it was an error on her part. However, the notice did not specify that the hearing had been cancelled. It's concerning that they would make such an error while, in other circumstances, a similar mistake could lead someone to prison.
I have something important to share. I want to show you how a summons was sent for a hearing where the person received the same summons twice, but with different dates. She was required to appear on the 24th and then again on the 30th. The woman attended on the 24th, only to be told it was an error on her part. However, the notice did not specify that the hearing had been cancelled. It's concerning that they would make such an error while, in other circumstances, a similar mistake could lead someone to prison.
I want to share a reflection on the difficult situation I am facing regarding the current government administration and the personal challenges I have encountered. I am currently involved in a legal process as I have filed a complaint against my husband, who never showed up for the required inspection. The situation has escalated to the point where they are considering sending him to prison for a period of 5 to 8 years. To face this challenge, I had to hire a renowned lawyer, and despite my efforts, the situation has not improved. We have had all doors closed to us, and unfortunately, we have fallen into poverty. My husband holds several professional degrees in various fields, including national custody and emergency medical services. However, he has been denied job opportunities in hospitals and other institutions. He has only been able to complete internships at a private clinic. Furthermore, I have had to manage the purchase of a blender myself, as my nutrition depends on a feeding tube. Despite having a disability certificate due to multiple health issues, I have not received support in this regard. Recently, I managed to have a senator submit the necessary paperwork in Parana to obtain a subsidy intended for the purchase of the blender, which had been approved by a social worker. However, I was informed that the subsidy would not be granted to me due to issues with the municipality, which is a mistake since the situation is completely unjust. The social worker who contacted me called to inform me that my subsidy had been approved and that the money would be deposited at the beginning of November so I could buy a blender. However, when I checked on the 10th of that month, I did not see the deposit reflected and decided to reach out to her again. In that conversation, she explained to me that the subsidy had not been deposited because a colleague from Colón had intervened against me, arguing that I had issues with the municipality, which affected the processing of the subsidy and left me without the blender I desperately needed. In light of this situation, I decided to file a complaint against the social worker who obstructed my obtaining the subsidy. However, despite my efforts, I was unable to secure the blender. The social worker who refused to help me was an older woman who seemed unwilling to cooperate, even asking me to go to social development to carry out a necessary procedure for my subsidy, which she ultimately did not follow through on. I had the opportunity to speak with another social worker who is in charge of my health and who provided the support I needed in that area. However, the first social worker continued to obstruct my request. I have lived through a very difficult situation where, despite having the evidence and necessary documentation, I have found myself without resources to advance legally. In the current political environment, I have noticed that many officials seem to have a network of connections that favors a select few while those of us who truly need assistance face multiple obstacles. I have also experienced painful situations, such as the recent loss of my father, and I have witnessed how the needs of others have been prioritized over mine. The lack of support and mistreatment I have received from certain health professionals has contributed to my frustration. In this context, I have decided not to continue insisting on the issue of the blender, as I do not see a clear path to obtaining the help I need. Despite having the unique disability certificate, my rights continue to be constantly violated. The social worker Elia, who should assist with these procedures, has not only ignored my needs but has also blocked access to the subsidy for the purchase of a blender, which is essential for my nutrition due to my condition. Additionally, I have been subjected to mistreatment and lack of respect from both officials and social workers, as well as a nurse in charge of health-related matters. The mayor is aware of this situation, however, he has not taken any steps to resolve these injustices, which highlights a lack of interest in the rights and well-being of those who need support the most.